What's up, everybody? I'm Aiden.
I'm Clark. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Mesa Boogie Mark V 90-watt 1x12 combo. Welcome to Liquid Studios.
This amp sounds fantastic. This was the first Mesa that we've ever played or owned, and we were just completely blown away by it. It's all three channels sound great, and it does what you would want it to do. Its cleans are great, its crunches are great, and its leads are great. We've had tons of amps over the years, probably too many to list, but we've played most amps.
So I'll just list a few amps that we had. We had Fender Deluxe Reverb, we've had a Marshall JCM 800 and 900 and a 2000. We've had a Hayden amp, which was really nice. A couple orange amps, the Tiny Terror and the OR15. We had a Jet City American Vintage amp. And
Trainer YB1A, I believe. We've played Black Stars, Valve Trains are great, Dr. Z. We've messed around with a lot of different amps over the years, but this was definitely the first time I heard it. It was my favorite amp I've ever heard.
I have to agree and kind of slightly disagree in the same sense. I would say this amp is the best amp I've ever heard in the sense of everything that you can do, like flexibility wise, you can get pretty much any sound. It's perfect for in-studio use because you have not only the EQ on each channel, but then you have graphic EQ to go in and fine-tune exactly what frequency range you really want to boost or cut with your guitar to have it sit in a mix. It sounds phenomenal when playing with a band because it sits perfectly in right away. It doesn't require much tweaking at all. And I find it's amazing for playing by yourself too, because not only do you have the ability to go between 90 watts, 45 watts, and 10 watts, but you also have a master output volume, so you don't need an attenuator to help keep your volumes down while still cranking up your channels. The only thing I find with it is when playing by yourself, I think it's the same thing that I had with the dual rectifier, is it's a very tight sound that, in my personal preference, I find like I prefer the sound of a Marshall on their own. I just find like it has more like almost like, don't want to really throw too many terms out there, but almost like a loose like sponginess, whereas this is very like tight and pronounced and up the gut sound.
Yeah, the reason why Clark would think that is too is like we're really into classic rock, and like you said, we've had multiple Marshalls over the years, and like you described it as a tight sound. It's the way the sound comes out of the amp. It's a very compressed sound, so everything comes across very evenly, very nice. The guitar just sings really well out of it, but it doesn't react like a vintage Marshall amp does, where you have the dynamics within the amp. It is a very tight, compressed sound out of this amp, but if you have any use for that, it is fantastic.
And I would say even when we had the options though in studio to use an amp, the Mesa beats the Marshall in my opinion almost any day, just because you do have so much flexibility, and when it comes to post-production, you're not going to have to do nearly as much to clean up the Mesa and have it fit nicely like with the Marshall.
That's one other point too. You'll hear from the sound samples. All the sound samples, it's just our Aston Spirit, our large diaphragm condenser in front of the amp, so that it will really recreate the amp. So we didn't do anything to remove noise or anything like that on the tracks.
Yeah, we just left it all the original tones.
So you'll hear there still is noise with the amp a bit, as there is with any tube amp, but the noise out of this amp is so minuscule compared to what we're used to with big tube amps, which is another huge plus for this amp.
And one thing I will add that's a huge bonus for this amp is it probably has the best foot controller ever to go with an amp, because it gives you complete control over all your channels, your reverb, your effects loop. You have your solo boost button, you have a mute button on it. You can do everything you would need. Like, once you have this amp, I would say you don't really need any gain pedals, maybe just one thing to help boost it a little bit, and you just need to take some modulation pedals and stuff. And with having the control of the effects loop on your pedal too, it's great because you can always have your patches prepared during a song while you're playing with it disengaged, and then you can just turn your pedals on, hit the one button instead of fumbling around with a bunch of different effects. I'm going to show you the third channel. I usually leave this on the Mark II C+ setting with the normal switch engaged.
Thanks everybody for checking out our video. If you enjoyed it,
Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
to stay up to date on new videos that we release, you can also connect with us on social media, Twitter @Liquid Studio 2 and Instagram @Liquid Studio Producers.
We host a live stream every Monday and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on
eLive,
at
eLive.
TV/Liquid Studio.
Come, hang out, talk, and create music with us. We post all the songs we create to SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Liquid Studio Producers. We list the key and BPM of each song.
You can then download the songs, add your own vocals and instruments to create your very own songs, or just enjoy the music for yourself.
Also, if you're a content creator, you can use any of the songs we create as royalty-free music for your own video content.